Okay, so this is my first Booktube video. I'm really excited. I decided to turn my channel into more book-related themes. I really just fell in love with reading, found Booktube and Goodreads, and it just took it to a whole new level. So I really want to participate online with all of the book things. So my Goodreads link will be below, and I'm really excited. I'm going to start making Booktube videos. Yeah, so it's going to be a great year. I would like to start with my favorite books that I read in 2015. I read a lot of amazing books. I read the most books I've ever read in a year as well. I read 65 books last year, and it was awesome. So this year I want to read 75, so we'll see if I can do it. And yeah, so these books are in no particular order. They're not even in the order that I read them. They're just when I grab, that's what I'll show. So the first book that I read, not the first book that I read, the first book I'm going to show that I read is Life and Death by Stephanie Meyer. This came out, I think, in October of 2015, and I couldn't believe it. We had no idea it was coming out, and I was so excited. So I bought it right away and I read it. It was so good. I just love anything Twilight, pretty much. I'm a huge Twilight fan, as you will know. And this just adds to it. It's awesome. So actually I reread Twilight and then I read Life and Death as well. So if you don't know, Life and Death is Twilight rewritten with all of the genders swapped. So Bella is now a boy and Edward is a girl, and all of the Cullens are opposite genders, and the only same genders that we have are Bella's parents. They're still Charlie, they're still Renee, and they're the mom and the dad. But other than that, they're all different, and it was so fun. I loved the ending too. I thought it was such a good ending. So I really recommend it. If you liked Twilight, you need to read this. It's totally necessary. And I wish that she would write more, but I don't think that there's gonna be more. So at the beginning of the year, I read the Selection Trilogy and I fell in love with it. I love this series. I especially love the Selection. It just sucked me in. I just couldn't put it down. It was amazing. So this was really good. The Elite was good, but it wasn't as good as the Selection. But I still whizzed through this because I wanted to know what would happen. And then the One was just so good, and I really loved the ending. And it was just a really good world building, I guess, and like, I don't know. It was just a really good ending to the world. Next, I finished Rochelle Mead's series, The Bloodlines, and these two books were my favorite that I read this year. I read the first 3 books last year in 2014, and then in 2015 I read the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th. And I loved these two. Silver Shadows is so good. I loved like kind of how dark it got, and like it was just so exciting. I couldn't put this down. I read it so quickly. I love this series. It was really good. And then I loved the ending of the Ruby Circle. It was such a good conclusion to the world, and I really hope that she writes more in this world someday, because I just love these characters and I really love the vampire world that she created. So yeah, great ending to the Bloodlines series. And then I also read the Lux series this year, or in 2015, and I fell in love with it. So my very favorite is probably Origin, that's why I have it here, but I pretty much loved every book except for Opal, which is the 3rd book. Opal was kind of slow until the very end, and then it just is like crazy. Yeah, I love this world too. I love it. I really liked Obsidian, Origin, and Opposition. Those are probably my favorite. And then Onyx, and then Opal. Next, I have Remember Me by Sophie Kinsella. This, in 2015, was the first year that I read anything by Sophie Kinsella, and I actually read I've Got Your Number first. And then I picked up Remember Me, and I actually liked Remember Me better than I've Got Your Number. This was so funny. It was so quick. I loved this. It was it was just a really good story. So this is about a girl who gets in an accident and she wakes up in the hospital with a lost memory of 3 years, I think it is. So she doesn't know who she is, or like she's got a whole new life that she has to get used to. And there's like this mystery, kind of like what happened in the 3 years and like how she's a totally different person and that kind of thing. But it's hilarious. It's a really cute love story, and it just had a really good ending too. So this was a favorite. Another book that I loved was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I have only read the Harry Potter series once before, and so in December I started reading Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and I fell in love with it. I don't even know what came over me, but I was like in this craze for Harry Potter, so I read the second one right away, and I am in the middle of reading the third one, and it's so fun. So yeah, I had to stick that in there because I loved those. And then the rest are Christian themed books. So first I have Bridge to Haven. I adored this book. It was so good. This is her most recent, Francine Rivers' most recent book, and it was really good. So captivating and just like really well done. And then also by Francine Rivers, I read The Atonement Child, which just blew me away. This is an incredible book. Yeah, I recommend it. And then I have 2 nonfiction books. So first is It's Not What You Think by Jefferson Bethke. He is a YouTuber, so that's kind of cool. But I just devoured this book. It was so good. I loved how he like talked about Christian stereotypes and like talked about how we need to stop having them, and it was just really well done. I really appreciate the things that he says. And then I read Wild Grace by Max Lucado, and this was really good too. It's actually the teen version, but it still spoke to me, and it was really good, really helpful. So those are my favorite books that I read in 2015. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is my first video, so I hope you guys like it. And if you have any ideas for what I could do, I'm gonna do the typical videos like wrap-ups and TBRs and stuff like that, because they're so fun and I love reading. So yeah, so that's it. I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!